Happy National Park Day. To Insanity, this is Liberty Insanity 103. It was exactly 107 years ago today that the National Park Service was established. August 25th, 1919. The national parks are free to visit today if you're so inclined. Maybe you're already there. I've been wanting to incorporate something about national parks into my channel for a while because I've been to essentially all of them. That's my claim to fame. There's currently 63 national parks. There's 425 sites in the National Park Service, but 63 are designated national parks. I've been to everything in the lower 48. And then we get Hawaii with 2. I've been to those. Alaska technically has 8. Some are very, very inaccessible. But I've been to the 3 accessible ones. So from the 63, I have to subtract 5 from Alaska. And then you notice Samoa and Virgin Islands. I've not been to those. And I want to incorporate this for a couple more reasons. The Statue of Liberty is part of the National Park Service, and that's what Liberty Insanity is all about, my Statue of Liberty collection. And of course, just to give you a sense, if you follow my channel, give you a sense of what I collected before toys and pop cultural artifacts. My drive, my sense of completion as a collector of material objects, it was the same in my youth, visiting national parks. You gotta catch them all, you gotta see them all. And in fact, this is really showing my age here. 2023 is the 20th anniversary. This summer, right now that we're in, is the 20th anniversary of my first road trip. 2003 is when I went to a lot of these. It ended up taking about 7 years for me to see all of them. Now, since that time, I really want to talk about these Unigrids, and I want to talk about this cool framed poster. But since my road trip days, there has been 5 more, maybe 6 more national parks established. When Woodrow Wilson created the National Park Service in 1919, there was 35 sites, not 35 parks, 35 sites. Now, there's now currently 425 sites. But the thing is, our newest national park but it did in 2020 get full national park status. This is called the Unigrid. I put a little post-it on these. This is the A6, meaning 1 panel. This would be A, 2 panels is B, and then 6 down. 2, 4, 6. So as a visitor of national parks, as a national park enthusiast, a national park enjoyer, everybody collects these Unigrids. New River Gorge established 2020. It is the only one not on this map. West Virginia, Mountain Mama. White Sands is actually on here. But when I went to White Sands, it was a national monument. This is a B5, the rare B5. B6 is very common. B5, not so much. So A, B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is very thin paper. So what I did for this video is I requested from the most recent national parks and some others. If we have time, I'm going to tell you about the time I was stranded on Isle Royal. But I really wanted to get one of these for the ones that changed designation since my road trip days. White Sands was established as a national park 2019. Indiana Dunes, when I went there, it was a national lakeshore. And I did have the foresight. It's not just that. I was interested in going to the national monuments, national seashores, national lake shores, national historic parks, national memorials, national battlefields. It's one thing to go to, as many parks as you can, but I really was trying to go to every national park site. And there's, like I said, 425. But these are beautiful, and people covet and collect just the Unigrids. I don't have much of a memory of Indiana Dunes. Pinnacles was established 2013. Okay, so when I requested these, disappointingly, I never received one back from Gateway Arch, the controversial national park in Missouri. And yes, I did go there when it was a national memorial, so it says established in 2018. They did not send me one, and tying this project together, the Statue of Liberty did not send me one, and I think I did also request Yellowstone and Yosemite. They did not send one. Everyone else sent me one, just from a simple email request. Okay. Pinnacles established 2013. It was still a national monument when I went out and did, all the parks in California and all the parks, Utah, Colorado. Great Sand Dunes. I should have got one from there too. Established 2004. So my first road trip, they were literally still a national monument. Anyway, as the facilities increase, as more of the surrounding area is protected, it's eligible for that designation. And a lot of presidents like to redesignate monuments and such as national parks as part of their legacy. Pinnacles, I do remember Pinnacles really well, because it wasn't like I just rolled up and took a picture of the sign or whatever. I did the hikes, and I would participate in the ranger talks and stuff. So I've hiked through this sort of area. I remember seeing these really cool darkling beetles. I remember photographing wildflowers in so many of these parks. Royal, I might talk about at length. I got Independence. I tried to get Statue of Liberty too, but I got Independence because, I do a Liberty Bell Day. Sequoia and Kings Canyon, the second national park, and one of my favorites, so I got that one. And then I think the rest of these I got because the National Park Service established National Fossil Day. And I'm big into the insanity calendar and pointing out these sort of days. So I got ones that have to do with fossils. And we might look at these Unigrids. I'll show you the graphic design fold if you're interested. Before, I'll just show you. 2 panels horizontally, 4 vertically. So I've been to agate fossil beds. I've been to John Day. I've been to Florissant, Colorado. John Day is Oregon. Agate, Nebraska. Yes, I've been up through that corner of Nebraska. And of course, I've been to Dinosaur, Fish Red Forest, Arizona. Cool. So we might explore more of these on National Fossil Day. Now, let me talk about this map. If you go to mapyourtravels.com, you can buy this foam core map for $170. And I got to tell you, serendipitously, I found this. This is the 2020 edition. It's got everything on here except New River Gorge. But what it tells you to do, put a white pin in everything you visited, a yellow pin in your favorite, and a green pin on the last one you visited. Well, the last ones for me were the 2 in Hawaii, and I don't remember the order in which I went to them. The 3 I did in Alaska are Denali, Wrangell, St. Elias, and Kenai Fords. But the last lower 48 one for me was Acadia. So I looped all through the Southwest. I remember for some reason I did just the way it all worked out in the miles. I did the north rim of the Grand Canyon like 3 months before I ever made it to the south rim. But obviously 3 in Washington, so many in California. What is my favorite? What would I put the yellow pin on? Yosemite, I've actually been to twice. I love Sequoia, Kings Canyon. I love Death Valley. California definitely has great ones. Utah, Great Basin. I hiked to the top of the highest peak in Nevada. Grand Canyon, Petrified Forest, Saguaro. All right, obviously this phone dies in 107-degree heat, but it did give me a chance to think about this. I wanted to say I serendipitously found this map at a thrift store. It had never been used. It was still in the plastic with the pins attached to the back of it. I did not pay $170 for this. I paid more, like $10. And listen, I love the original artwork they put all around the border. I was looking up their Channel Islands, and I was thinking, oh yeah, that's one you got to get a boat to. Dry Tortugas, Florida, you got to get a boat to. And hopefully I still have time to talk about Isle Royale, you got to get a boat to. But it gave me a minute to think about this. The thing I like least about this map is that they put this notation on it. Like, let people decide how they want to pin things. But it says put yellow on your favorite. My favorite, I am going to have to go with Yosemite. I went there twice because I loved it so much. And I did hike to the top of Yosemite Falls. I did several hikes there. I saw you see elk in a lot of parks. I saw black bear in Yosemite. Great time. And then, it doesn't say what this blue is. It doesn't say what this blue is. You'd think they would have just done the typical. Blue is first place and red is second place. Anyway, I'm going to put the blue in my second place. I'm going to go with Death Valley. Love it. I saw, a lot of coyotes and just had a great time. Those rocks that move in the, because of ice, whatever, track rocks, I think they're, anyway, I was thinking, all right, heat death of the phone. The last one visited besides Hawaii, I'm going to just go ahead and put it at Acadia, because for me, what I ended up doing in one of my last road trips, I'd been to Glacier. I'd been to Teddy Roosevelt, love it. I had to get Voyageurs, Isle Royale, and Acadia. So I was coming up at the time through North Cascades, and I ended up going across Canada. And I think I did at least 12 or 13 national parks in Canada. Came down, this is near, so this is Manitoba. This is near International Falls in Minnesota. Went to Voyageurs. And then you have to take a boat from Minnesota. Where is it? All right, let me recount my Isle Royale story real quick. That is how you pronounce it, not Isle Royale. Okay, so at this point, I'd done Voyageurs. Isle Royale, I was going, like I said, I had come from Canada, and I was going back into Canada. Here's the thing. There's a boat you can take from some other point in Michigan. Doesn't matter. I was coming from Minnesota. The Voyager 2 is a 2-hour one-way passage to the Wendigo Visitor Center. All right? And then you have something like 3 hours. You have 3 hours to putz around that area and then get back on the boat. Well, I obviously missed the boat. And you want to know what the big problem is? Even with this map, you cross a time zone between Minnesota and that part of Michigan and Wisconsin. whatever. I didn't think it was a big deal because I was young and silly. But what I decided to do, it was still daylight. I had already seen some moose. What I decided to do was just explore the island. And I figured, I had the Unigrid, so I figured I would hike to this. It's like halfway out the island, the world's largest freshwater island. So that's 4 miles. So I guess I'm hiking about 16 miles to this fire watchtower. And the reason I wanted to do that, because I thought first of all, get me away from mosquitoes. Mosquitoes were so bad. If I get elevated, I'll be more away from the mosquitoes. I don't have food, I don't have water, I don't have camping gear, but just stay in motion until you can get elevated. And the other reason is, what's the number one thing you always hear about Isle Royale is the moose and wolf population. There were wolves there in 2005. I saw 3 or 4 or 5 moose. I didn't see any wolves, but hiking by moonlight means a pretty flat walk, but still you're going through the forested island, and that's all I'm thinking about is moose and wolves and getting away from the mosquitoes. I do get to the fire lookout tower, but it's made of this angled steel, so you couldn't lay down on it. And I guess the point is that kind of thing grips your boots, you know, so you don't blow off. So I climbed up the tower. There's no way I could get any sleep on it. It was painful to lay on, is my point. And it was also extremely windy up there. But the wind kept me away from the mosquitoes. So I literally stayed at the top of this tower until morning, because the next day, what did I have to do? I had to hike all the way back to catch the boat. And the story gets worse because on the way back, with no sleep, I was so tired. I literally laid on right off the trail. I laid down right off the trail, fell asleep. Obviously, I woke back up, but by the time I got back to Wendigo Visitor Center, I had missed the boat again. And this is America's least visited national park for a reason. So here's what happened. After I hiked back, I was so embarrassed that I'd missed the boat twice at this point. I sought out a ranger who gave me some snacks and water and sent me to a lean-to, and she said, you know, this happens all the time. And then, so yeah, I ended up spending another night there, you know, and I didn't leave this area because I wanted to make sure I didn't miss the boat again, because, you know, I had to finish Canada and I had to get to Maine. Okay, that's my overall story. Maybe next year I'll give you another national park story. Happy National Park Day. Insanity. Signing out. Thumbs up. Goodbye.